Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's session. My name is Iskia, and I'm one of the event planners for the Redmond Reactor Space. And before we get started today, I've got a few things to go over. So if you could please take a moment to read our code of conduct. There we go. Basically, what it is saying is that we seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. We encourage engagement in the chat, but we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary. Please remain professional, and if possible, try to stay on topic. We're going to be sharing useful links throughout the chat, so keep an eye out for that. And we want to let you know that this session is going to be recorded and will be available in about 24 to 48 hours on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel. Which brings us to today's session. It's scheduled to run approximately 1 hour, and there'll be definitely time for questions throughout. Ask the expert. So with that said, I would like to bring on our panel for today and allow them to get started.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And hi, everybody. Welcome to the Microsoft Fabric and Microsoft Purview Reactor Series session. We're so excited to be here with you today. We're going to answer so many of your questions regarding Fabric and Purview. I know there's so much excitement around this, and there should be. So hopefully we can answer all your questions in the next 60 minutes or so. My name is Kelly Mitchell. I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager here at Microsoft, specifically focusing on Microsoft Fabric. And I also have an amazing group of folks from the product team from both Fabric side and the Purview side. And why don't we start with some introductions? So Anton, do you want to kick us off?
Sure, thank you, Killian. My name is Anton. I'm PM manager on Fabric side. I mainly focused on data protection. In the last few years, it was data protection leveraging Purview security in Fabric. So we'll be happy to answer any questions about this.
Nama, do you want to go next?
Hi, yes, I'm Nama. I'm a product manager in Fabric platform, mainly focused on admin persona, admin portal, admin monitoring, governance, domains, tags, and so on.
All right, Sunitra. Or sorry, Shafiq, I think you're up.
Hey, my name is Shafiq Mannan. I'm the product manager for Microsoft Purview. My main focus area is data health management, mainly data quality and data state health. Handing over to Sunitra.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sunitra Virdi, Principal Product Manager in Purview, and I work on all of the core Purview pieces along with integration with Fabric. So I work very closely with all my Fabric friends here.
All right, thanks everybody. As you saw, we have such a good group of folks to answer all of your questions. We also have some folks in the chat. So Darren, Daniel, Sushma, Yaron, they're all in the chat who are going to collect your questions, answer some of them, bring some of them to us so we can answer them live. And actually, before we get into your questions, I have a few slides to go through just so we can let everyone join the call and give everyone kind of a baseline of what Fabric is, what Purview is. Before we go to answering all of your questions. So I'm actually going to start with an overview of Microsoft Fabric. If you know anything about Microsoft Fabric, you've probably seen this slide before. We tend to use it quite a lot. But Fabric is an all-in-one software as a service data platform that has all the tools you need to accomplish any data project that you have, from data integration with Data Factory to all of the analytics workloads that you need, to if you have real-time data coming in, you can use real-time intelligence, to Power BI, the thing everyone knows and loves, to even our new SaaS database offering. We have everything you need in one data platform, and all the workloads that you see all work seamlessly out of the box together without that configuration and infrastructure that you typically see with a PaaS platform, because Fabric is a SaaS platform. And Fabric also comes with OneLake, which is our SaaS data lake that spans the entire organization, and you can use it as a central point to connect to your entire data estate and access all your data in one place. And then on the other side, Microsoft Purview is our industry-leading data security, data governance, and data compliance offering. And while it has a ton of solutions under each of those headers, there are some shared capabilities like data map, connectors, classification, labels, auditing, visibility, that kind of bring them all into this one seamless platform. But as I said, there's a ton of different solutions under each one of these, from data loss prevention to, you know, all the data governance solutions in there, to all the things you need for compliance, and everything you need to help you seamlessly secure and manage your data. And everything in Purview is being extended across the entire data estate. So both in Microsoft 365, which is where kind of Purview was born, and that's where you probably interact with it most, to all of our data and analytics products like Microsoft Fabric, which we're going to talk about today, to even Azure Databricks, also to your business applications like Copilot Studio, and your Microsoft Copilots like M365 Copilot, and in Microsoft Fabric, Copilot and Fabric as well, and all your third-party sources as well. And when we're building Microsoft Fabric and Microsoft Purview, we design them to work seamlessly out of the box so that when you're working in Microsoft Fabric, you feel confident sharing that data, working with that data, unlocking insights from that data, while you can still use Microsoft Purview to manage that data as part of your greater data estate so that you can govern and secure that data confidently. And I'm going to show you a bit of an eyesore of a slide here. I know there's a lot here, but really what we're just saying with all of this is Microsoft Fabric actually has a ton of security and governance built in, and it's really designed to help you manage your data in Fabric. And so you get federated governance tools so that everyone in your organization can maintain ownership of that data. You get security capabilities so you can protect that data from any intrusion. You get all of the tools you need to help folks like discover that data, trust that data, and use that data. And you get end-to-end monitoring capabilities so that you can monitor everything that's happening in your tenant. But at the same time, we do integrate with Microsoft Purview because there are tons of advanced capabilities in Microsoft Purview, and you can manage that Fabric data as part of your larger data estate. So if you have Azure Databricks and Microsoft Fabric and Azure AI and M365, well, you can manage all of that data in Purview from one single place. But I do often get the question, right? If Fabric has so much security and governance built in, why would I need something like Microsoft Purview? And well, first, like there are tons of advanced capabilities in Microsoft Purview that you just don't get in Microsoft Fabric, right? And those capabilities go across your data estate, like I talked about. So you can go to, you can enforce policies across more than just one product. But also they're built for different personas, and that's what we're showing here, right? Microsoft Fabric was designed for data workers and business users who are working with data every single day. And so a lot of the security and governance and compliance capabilities are really designed for those data workers more than they are for, say, your security and compliance officers, your central data office, your data stewards and data consumers. They might go to Microsoft Purview to help you secure and manage and govern that data across the data estate. So they're really designed to kind of work together for those different personas. And when we think about what actually integrates with Microsoft Fabric, we kind of break it down into two different areas. One is security and compliance, and the other is data governance. And for security and compliance, the kind of four big things that we think about that integrate with Fabric. First being information protection, sensitivity levels, and protection policies. So similar to like Microsoft 365, where you put in, you know, if your document is confidential or general, you can do the same thing in Microsoft Fabric for your data items. And you can even enforce information protection policies to restrict access based on those labels. With data loss prevention policies, you can automatically detect the upload of any sensitive data like credit cards, and then you can automatically restrict access to that data or take automated actions. With Microsoft Purview Audit, you can log all those user activities in Microsoft Fabric for all of your compliance needs. And with Insider Risk Management, you can track any malicious activity in your Fabric tenant or inadvertent data oversharing activities. And then on the governance side, there's kind of three main tabs that you get in our new data governance solution for Microsoft Purview. First, in the Discovery tab, you can understand and request access to both Fabric and non-Fabric data. In the Catalog Management tab, you can organize, curate, and manage access to your entire data estate, including that Fabric data. And then in the Health Management tab, you can manage, monitor, and improve data quality and overall data health for data across your entire enterprise. And hopefully that's just a quick overview of both Fabric and Purview. But I do want to spend most of the time here today answering those questions. And while I look for your questions in the chat, I do have actually one question that I came pre-prepared with because it pops up over and over and over again, which is, we recently announced OneLake Catalog, but there's the Purview Unified Catalog already in existence. So the question we often get is, well, why would you need both if you already are using the OneLake Catalog or the Unified Purview Catalog? And to answer that, I'll start with you, Sunitra, if you want to take that one on.
Yeah, thanks so much, Killian. Yes, we get that question a lot. And the way we explain to customers is there are multiple types of catalogs. Catalogs have existed in market for a very long time. When we look at OneLake Catalog and the Unified Purview Catalog, they both are actually built to work together. So when we look at the OneLake Catalog, it's the catalog that brings in the operational side of your data. It is for the data consumers in Fabric. It is for the data engineers, data scientists to understand what data they have. When you put the Purview lens on top of it with the Unified Catalog, that's when we start to make it more business user friendly, more contextualized for consumers who actually don't change the line of work. So you may be in Excel or Teams or Power BI, and you still need to understand your data, taxonomize, and basically make decisions on your data. Unified Catalog gives you that lens. Along with that, we span across the multi-cloud. So not focusing only on Fabric, but going beyond Fabric. And so when we come together, that's where we make Fabric better, along with the Purview capabilities that we bring in, because now customers can look at their entire data estate through a single common frame. Hope that helps. Over to you, Killian.
Love it. Thank you. Nama, anything else there?
No, just that we would like each user to stay in their native environment. So OneLake Catalog in Fabric address those Fabric users. No need to change or switch applications. They get everything in one place. And similarly, the Purview users get everything in one place. So just to add to what Sunetra said.
Yeah, I love both of those answers so much. I think like the thing we're trying to get across is that Fabric is a catalog similar to Unity Catalog, similar to Polaris Catalog, where it's really that functional catalog for those data users and business users. And then Purview acts as that enterprise catalog. So similar to like things more like Calibra or Informatica, which it goes across the entire data estate. So they're really designed to actually work together. And if you have Unity Catalog or Polaris Catalog or OneLake Catalog, all of that information will feed into your Purview Unified Catalog so you can manage it all in one place. All right, I see some questions coming in. So let's see. What are the minimum options that we need to make a proof of concept with Fabric and Microsoft Purview and test the tool's benefits? So there's kind of two elements to that. There's the data security side and then the governance side. So why don't we start with the data security side? And I'll start with you, Anton. What do you think is the kind of first proof of concept you could do on the data security side?
So I think like there are three things that you can do. First of all, the solutions that we don't call out, but it's sort of like in the basic of Fabric, and also Purview. So you just can switch it on to make sure that the audit is going to the Purview. And this is already a huge value for your security and governance team because they can track the activities happening in Fabric. Now, based on these activities, by the way, they can also see if they can get inside the risk management. Because once the audits are there, the inside the risk management detections are mainly now covering Fabric Power BI use cases, but there is a plan to extend it further. Now, basic stuff. The next step, which is also in the basic realm, depends on what security solution you're using for Office today. So if you're using security protection, you can see it if you can label your documents, emails, or team meetings with labels like confidential, highly confidential. So if you use them, I would go to the Fabric admin portal and just switch on the information protection switch on, and then you can start exploring how labeling works within Fabric. You can set a label, you will see which labels you can set. You can, when you set the data set and create a new report, you will see how the label inheritance starts to work. When you export it to Excel, you see how the label travels with it. And you can also install defining protection policies, so which can ensure who can access data with certain sensitivity label in Fabric. So this is if you have sensitivity labeling enabled in your Office games. If you don't, I would suggest to start with Purview data loss prevention policies, which do not have any prerequisite besides configuring Purview. You can choose, hey, I want to detect some, let's say, sensitive data uploaded to either semantic models or lakehouses, and follow our demos or documentation. Just a file with this data, upload it to semantic model or to lakehouse, and see how the detection is flowing. You can enable DLP in simulation mode, so it won't charge you, and it won't affect anything, but you'll be able to practice the flow of the definition and see the audits coming back to Purview with the detections. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you, Anton. And then I will say too, like on the security side, as Anton was saying, they're very easy to start kind of playing around with in Microsoft Fabric. On the data governance side, if you have Microsoft Fabric and you're starting to kind of a proof of concept with Purview data governance, I might go to you, Shafiq. What do you think about how would you start kind of a proof of concept there?
Yeah, so that's pretty straightforward. So that once you have data in Fabric, you just need to use Purview data map to scan the Fabric data. Once you scan, all those metadata are available to discover in the data map. Then you can create in the Purview data product and associate those data assets that you scan directly from Fabric and to the data product. Then the consumer will be able to search and find those data product for discovery experience. So it should be very straightforward to just run a POC only for the business concept, like the governance domain, setting up the governance domain, then create the data product and associate the data set that you scan from the Fabric, and then publish it. So the consumer will be able to mainly discover those. Then the data state health, then you can scan also those data by applying data quality rule. Then you will be able to publish the data quality score also in the Purview, and you will be able to see the end-to-end health. And the action also will be generated for any data quality score, miss, or rule fail. Then you will be able to see what are the actions created for what data asset or for what rule, and you will be able to actually drive the remediation action. So Shunitra, you want to add anything?
Yeah, +1 to everything that Shafiq mentioned. Today, we use Fabric as a data source within Purview. So, the cycle of scanning today is still manual. Once you have scanned and ingested all of the metadata down to the table and column level, along with its lineage, that's when it becomes available for business users to create data products, which is again manual today, and we are working towards automating the flow. And once you have your data product, those are the assets on which you can run data quality and essentially do your entire governance, get a scorecard. If you're interested to do more analytics, we do connect back into the Fabric OneLake so that governance users, data stewards, and the CDO's office who want to actually do more custom analytics can actually do it from the lakehouse, use Power BI and other analytical objects and tools to essentially power decision making.
All right, thank you all. Hopefully, Sabas, that was helpful in your question. Thank you so much for the question. All right, we have one more from Kafka. Once Fabric is incorporated with Purview, does only the Fabric portal can view those data under security and compliance control or not? So I think the question is more around like how does the actual integration work in terms of who can view that data in Purview if you have the ability to view it in Fabric? And for that question, I might go to you, Sunitra.
Great question. So when we look at incorporating Fabric along with Purview, from a security and compliance standpoint, as a Fabric admin or as a data consumer, you can apply security MIP labels manually today on all of your data estate. However, the policies and the controls authoring of the policy and actually activating those labels happen from Purview. I think Anton can add a lot more to this and add color. However, when we think about the authoring and controlling of those policies, those are very security admin focused, and that can span across your data estate. It could be multi-cloud, it could be SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams, and a highly confidential label would apply the same across the board. Hence, the control and the authoring sits inside of Purview, but application is democratized through the Fabric admins as well as the data consumers.
Anton, do you want to add anything to that?
So maybe just like to highlight the security team opportunities that we have with this integration. One of the things that we hear from customers, which is a bit painful for them, is the number of the SaaS products, data products that they are using in the organization is growing very fast, and the number of security people not as fast. So I think this is organizations that already use Purview for their M365 suite and extending it to Azure, having the same security team able to use similar tools and extend it to Fabric makes it like very effective for those teams to extend to deploy more advanced security for Fabric. So, and without sort of like having the security team needing to go into Fabric itself and learn Fabric very deeply. So this is the upside.
Perfect. Thank you all. And I think one question we often get is on the licensing front, like how does the actual licensing work between Purview and Microsoft Fabric? And I'll talk quickly just on the Microsoft Fabric licensing. So on the Microsoft Fabric side, all of the workloads in Fabric actually come on one single capacity. And so no matter what usage you're doing, whether you're working in analysis services in Power BI, you're running some SQL endpoint queries, whatever you're doing, all that runs on the what we call an FSKU usage. So you'd buy a pool of capacity in Microsoft Fabric, and then you could use that capacity for any workload in Microsoft Fabric. And you would buy additional storage in OneLake as well. So you there's two charges, one for your capacity, one for your storage, and everything runs on that. But since Purview is a separate product and Purview also spans much more than just Fabric, it is purchased on a separate SKU altogether. I think there's actually a couple different SKUs you can purchase. So for that Purview side, Shafiq, do you want to answer on the data governance side?
Sure. So in Purview, we have two model. One is this governed asset, so-called. So whenever you created a data product and associated, for example, number of data asset, like the 5 data asset to a data product, then we are saying these 5 data asset are governed asset. So that cost is different. So every governed asset is 0.50 cent and per month. So that kind of cost for the governance asset. Then we have another model that, especially for the data quality is consumption based. So for example, you scan a data asset or table from Fabric Lakehouse, and you applied 5 different rules to a scan to measure the quality of that tables. Like you want to see how complete those data, how accurate those data, how consistent those data. So it's mainly run the compute. So it's a compute cost. So that compute cost is a processing unit, what you're talking about, because when the rule run is whatever compute is used, and per processing unit, there is a cost. So there's $15 and standard, and there's so on. So more details, I think Shunitra will be able to share cost point of view. So mainly net, there are only two models. One is the governed asset, 0.50 cent per governed asset. Another one is a compute, especially for the data quality and data state health. So Shunitra, please.
Yeah. So when we think about the pricing for Purview, we look at, all of Purview multi-cloud separate from, the E-Star licenses for now, which applied to the M365 side of the house. It still is very much standing and it works as is. So when we think about Fabric, that's all multi-cloud area where, consumption billing runs. Purview today has data security, MIP, DLP, and IRM in market, which is public preview, going to GA, and with billing on. And data governance is already in GA with billing on. So across the assets governed and secured, it's the same business model. We look at, counting of assets, governed assets or secured assets on a daily basis. We charge on a daily basis, approximately on a month, that's 50 cents per governed or secured asset, or both. And from a consumption standpoint, you could have risky user analytics, or you could have, data health running on data quality scans, which scans your actual data and not just metadata. So that's consumption based, pretty much like the FSKUs in Fabric. So the way to think about it is our unit is called processing units. So essentially, one processing unit is 60 minutes of compute time. And we give 3 different speeds for you to go try out the product. Your data might be huge enough that you need a higher level SKU to finish your job in data quality and time. That's essentially how data quality, IRM, both of these work. And more models will be introduced as more data security and compliance gets added to the portfolio. But that's over and above Fabric.
Perfect. Thank you both. So I will say we recently launched a product called a feature in Fabric called the OneLake Catalog. And this is kind of an evolution of the OneLake Data Hub. Nama knows all about it here. And it is a central place you can find all that data, use filters to search through all your data. You can search it through data by domains. You can just factually search by data. You also get governance insights built in so that you can improve the quality of that data, see if it's labeled correctly. And since we have a bit of time right now, we want to show you a demo of what that new capability looks like. So let me pull it up here and see if we can show it.
The new OneLake Catalog will be the central place where data engineers, data scientists, analysts, and decision makers can explore and govern all their data from a single location. Let's see how it works. Heading into the OneLake Catalog to discover relevant data, I'll start my search by browsing the domains in my organization. From the catalog, I can see all the domains and also subdomains I have access to. In this example, I'll select the sales domain, and after reading more about the domain, I'm ready to proceed. Now I'll browse the catalog to discover items in this domain. I can further refine the results to see items I own, endorsed and certified items, but just my favorites. And I can also filter the catalog to only show items from a specific workspace. Now I'll choose the type of content I need. The catalog includes all the data item types I'm familiar with from the OneLake Data Hub, like lakehouses, warehouses, and semantic models. But in addition, I now get access to the full range of item types in Fabric, including insight item types like reports and dashboards, as well as the full set of configuration, solution, and process item types. Drilling into the process category shows me the relevant items I have access to, including pipelines and notebooks. I also have the ability to filter my results by the set of tags in use in my org. This helps me drill down faster to the precise results that are relevant to my needs. Clicking on any item gives me all the information I need up front. Metadata, like the item description and tags, help me get to know this item better. Clicking into lineage shows me the set of relations the item exists in, while keeping me in my current context, making it easier for me to work. Monitor gives me context on all the recent runs for this item, and I can also review the item permissions in place. When I'm exploring the data items types, I'll get the same in-place experience we've already seen. I also have the ability to see all the objects and sub-items contained within my data items, whether that's the tables and columns within a semantic.
Oh, sorry, looks like the video paused. Sorry about that.
Drilling into the process category shows me the relevant items I have access to, including pipelines and notebooks. I also have the ability to filter my results by the set of tags in use in my org. This helps me drill down faster to the precise results that are relevant to my needs. Clicking on any item gives me all the information I need up front. Metadata, like the item description and tags, help me get to know this item better. Clicking into lineage shows me the set of relations the item exists in, while keeping me in my current context, making it easier for me to work. Monitor gives me context on all the recent runs for this item, and I can also review the item permissions in place. When I'm exploring the data items types, I'll get the same in-place experience we've already seen. I also have the ability to see all the objects and sub-items contained within my data items, whether that's the tables and columns within a semantic model or a lakehouse, or the full content hierarchy of the schemas within a warehouse. It's all in one place. Today I'm working with this sales demo lakehouse. Clicking into its lineage view shows me all the downstream items built upon it. Switching to list view shows me key information about all these related items, like the item and relationship type, and also sensitivity. In this case, I can see that some of the downstream items are marked highly confidential, so I'll add this label to the lakehouse too. Because I have write permissions for this item, heading into the settings lets me set a new label of highly confidential while keeping me in my existing context. And this label is also automatically applied to all the items downstream of the lakehouse. With my data protected, I'm ready to share it. And today I'll create a new external data share. I'll select a table I want to share from the lakehouse, a recipient outside my org, and hit send. I've also spotted a semantic model that looks like it could be relevant to me. By clicking Explore this data, I can drill into the item's contents and create on-the-spot visualizations to better understand what I'm seeing. The Govern tab gives me a set of features that make governing my individual data estates simpler and more transparent. Like the rest of the catalog, I can filter it to a domain of my choice or view all domains at once. I get key insights at a glance, like the number and type of items I own, and can click to see more. This report view gives me more key information, like my data hierarchy, item inventory, and data refreshes. I can understand how secure and compliant my items are by reviewing their sensitivity label coverage. And I can explore metadata attributes, like my use of tags, descriptions, and endorsements across the items I own. Back on the main view, I can see governance actions recommended for me, like increasing sensitivity label coverage and refreshing outdated data items. Clicking a card brings up a detailed overview, so I understand why there's an issue here and the steps I can take to address it. I also get access to all the data governance solutions across Fabric from one place, which makes it simpler for me to navigate to any part of the experience that's relevant to my jobs to be done. And resources and documentation help ease my learning curve on governance in Fabric and the statewide capabilities from Microsoft Purview.
All right, as you can see, that is incredibly exciting. New feature we have in Microsoft Fabric. It's gonna really complete the governance story that we have in Microsoft Fabric and just make data much easier to find for every user there. We do have a question in the chat from Calls. Hope I'm pronouncing people's names right. Can you share any roadmap for automated lineage improvements within Purview? Last time I checked, it had multiple limitations in inferring end-to-end lineage across technologies, including Fabric. Now, we can't share any NDA information here, but just at a very high level, Sunitra, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. At a high level, like totally understand this is a current gap that we are trying to fill. We are working towards getting granular metadata as well as lineage associated across lakehouse and semantic models and such. So this is work in progress. We can, in the coming future, you'll see this shape up, and essentially we'll make an announcement.
Sounds great. Thank you, Carlos, for the question. Actually, I have a question for you, Nama, for this, because we're getting a lot of excitement around this Govern tab, and I know it's, is it currently in public preview? And also, Okay, great. Yeah, that's what I thought. And like, what is the, what can data owners do currently in the Govern tab, and what's kind of the future plans for what you think it might look like in, 6 months from now?
So basically, we started bottom up. As a self-service system, we consider everyone that creates data as the owner of the data. There is the responsibility is to govern the data and make sure it's well curated, well protected, and people are using it. If not, maybe it shouldn't be there. So we started with that person or persona, currently very basic insights and actions, but looking to extend those and bring full view around the data, including the usage and popularity of the data. And currently the actions are more recommended how to fix a problem and to consider to do things and to learn how to do them. But we are looking to tie that into actual actions and to take you into that detailed items that require some attention. So that's in a nutshell. I would say admins today have a lot of reports and a way to monitor the system, and this is why we wanted to target those people that doesn't have any visibility on their items. However, we are looking on the admins as well to extend their experience and to provide them with some recommended action as well.
That's great, because I know I've already actually used it. I've been a long time Power BI user, and throughout that time, like the more people use data and interact with data, which is what we want organizations to be actually using that data every single day to drive those insights into their decision making. But all of that usage grows your data estate, and it grows the amount of data items you have. And so keeping track of all those data items can be pretty difficult, especially like, hey, I think that had confidential data in it. Did I tag it right? Did I have the right sensitivity label on it? Like all of that can get quite hard over that time. And so I love this coming in. It's super useful as a data owner myself.
Thank you. And on top of that, as you showed, I saw a slide with a lot of Fabric tools are currently scattered and people are not aware. So we gathered everything that is available for data owner here in the top solutions, just to easy navigate to those tools and to further documentation, just to get to know whatever is available for you in Fabric, just in one place. So that was also the goal for this tab.
Yeah, I think that the best part of Fabric can also sometimes be a detriment in that, you have everything in one place. You have every tool that you need as a data professional. You can access it all in one place, from data integration to data engineering to data science to visualization. And all of those tools then have a multitude of admin experiences as well, a multitude of data ownership experiences as well. And, it can be kind of hard to find things. So I love, putting it all in one place, making it very easy to understand with those visuals. I think this is going to be an absolute game changer for not just those admins, but also just every person who owns the data item. All right. I don't see any questions in the chat yet, so why don't we play another demo? Hopefully that gets some questions going here. And I have a few more set up here, so let me find another one that we can play. All right. All right, I do want to, because I think this is probably the most used item in terms of the Purview and Fabric integration right now, which is those information protection policies. So why don't we just play a quick demo of that, and you can see how it works and how to get started.
In this demo, we'd like to showcase the Microsoft Purview information protection policy. This is related to my workspace in Microsoft Fabric, where I can see my data does not have any classification. Open the central lakehouse. Here you'll see a list of all my tabular data. At the top, I'm notified there is no label and the data is classified, and I can directly classify my lakehouse from here. Since I have a label, since the lakehouse contains confidential data, I'll use the highly confidential internal only label. And then internal users view the data and edit. All the items that are connected to the lakehouse are labeled and protected. the data is sensitive, expect the same protection to apply. Now it will be and we can see that confidential label has been automatically inherited. This is the Microsoft Purview information protection.
I love this feature so much. I love that it's just basically, in addition to everything that you get in Microsoft 365, it just is the same look and feel. It's the same experience that you get in Fabric, so that you know all of your users who are used to Microsoft 365 can use it in Fabric. And that's important because I think Fabric is not only made for those data professionals, it's really designed for your business users to access and like go into Power BI and view all those insights that you create in those reports. Anything you want to share around what's happening with the information protection capabilities that's coming to Fabric, Anton?
I think the biggest thing from our perspective was make it very seamless to have like this control plane level classification in Fabric. So we started this from Power BI, and then like as Fabric came around, we took this concept and once we enable labeling on all Fabric items, so that's we are sort of like hearing customer asking us to take it to the next level, table level and column level. We are thinking about it. It's not as simple as it sounds, but like, it's something that we are considering. Another thing that worth knowing for many organizations, they rely on labeling to meet compliance requirements. So we do support default mandatory label policies and APIs. So you can bulk label if you have already like big estate on Fabric and you did not use labeling before. And with protection policies, it becomes really intuitive to manage access. So basically, once the organization already has some hierarchy of how to classify sensitive data, what stands for confidential, what stands for like business critical, etc. It usually comes with some guidelines who can access it. So with enabled in such a simple way within Fabric, and the security admin can just define the policy of who can access data that applied with specific sensitivity level. And that's it. So this is something that like it's relatively simple to configure and apply in Fabric versus like what like we see customers need to do when they don't have these labels. So they need to make sure that the security groups apply it properly. They do some custom reports to make sure that everybody who's accessing specific items or workspaces according to security groups are authorized. It's a lot of hassle, and like by using sensitivity label, it becomes simpler and really preventive security and data leakage, because like most of the people in your organization are people who you trust. So when they know it's confidential data, they know how to treat it. And so this is the value that we sort of like wrap into Fabric with information protection scenarios.
I love this because I think it completes our federated, not only federated governance story, but federated security story in terms of both allowing admins and the IT office to have all the controls they need in terms of securing their data, but also giving some control to the data user so that they can decide, hey, does this have confidential data in it? Does it have PII data in it? And if it's not already labeled as such, then you can label it yourself. Similar to Microsoft 365, where you have that central IT office managing the security of your files, but also giving those users the ability to secure data when they need, so that their data, they feel confident in securing that data. And I think that federated security story is where we try to get customers to, in terms of that being the most secure you can have, where you have control on both sides of the ball. Because I think in the past, when you think about a data platform, all that security, governance, data management was mostly done by the IT office, mostly done in kind of a central way, which is quite limiting and adds a lot of blockers to data users, and can be hard, like if you see something that needs to be secured in a different way, to actually secure it in that way. So I love the control it gives data users on the ground as well. All right, So I think, we're getting some questions here around data products. What is a governance domain? And I want to give those questions to Shafiq and Sunitra, but I think maybe we should play a demo of the new data governance experience first, and then we can tackle some of those questions. So let me line that up here and play it, and then we can talk about it together.
Here is a brief demo of the Purview Unified Catalog app that sits inside of Purview Unified Portal, from where organizations can secure and govern their federated data estate. Let's click in the Unified Catalog app. On the left nav, you can see a discovery experience built for the data consumers and business users, the catalog management experience built for the data product owners, data stewards, and domain owners, and the health management experience mainly built for the CDO's office and data stewards mainly doing data quality work. Now let's look at data product search experience. This is a complete data product experience for the business users that gives a packaged look on your technical data asset, showing a description, number of use cases, data quality score, and which domain it belongs to. If we scroll down, we can see all of the assets that are attached to the data product. And as you can see, it ranges from Snowflake tables to Power BI reports to Databricks tables and Lakehouse tables. If I wish to request access to this data product, I do have to provide purpose of use along with a business justification and some adhere to the terms of use. Once my request has been submitted, the access is granted by the data product owner, and the data product owner makes sure that I also get access to the underlying data assets for my use. Now let's look at the catalog management experience. As a data product owner or a data steward, I start by looking at the data estate from a governance domains lens. These are logical groupings of my assets and business concepts that help me define how to govern my data estate. A governance domain can have a description which tells me what the governance domain is about. It can have a type, such as it could be a replication of my functional unit or a data domain. It can have a parent-child relationship up to 5 levels deep, and essentially contains some very core business concepts that help with data governance in general. Data products are associated to governance domains along with glossary terms that can be specific to the domain, and OKRs, critical data elements, which are crown jewels for companies, and other such concepts that can come over the next few iterations. As a data product owner, once I'm assigned a governance domain, I can create data products from inside of that domain, which means the scope of the assets within the domain is what I can create data products on, which can be multi-cloud. I can define a description, a type, and attach assets to. Finally, let's look at health management. As a data quality steward, I look at data quality from the same lens of governance domains. Within governance domains, all of the data products that are created can have data quality scores within the assets. So I pick one of the data products that has multiple asset types within it. As I click on the data asset, this data asset already has a data quality score, which is pretty high. It has 9 active rules, 1 scan in the last 30 days, and 3 actions on the data. I can see the profile of the data asset columns as well, along with the distribution, which helps me understand what type of data there is and if there are any deviations. I can look at the rules that are set by the rule name and on which columns. I can set a new rule. There are a bunch of rules available out of the box, and if I do not like any of those and I want to write my custom rule, I can use regular expressions to write a custom rule as well. Now let's say I set up a data quality rule for uniqueness value. I have to pick a column name for which I need to run the data quality rule on. I can add a description if I like, and I hit create. Once the rule is created, I can run a scan right away, or I can monitor and schedule a scan from the main page within Health Management Control. I can also see all of the rules that are written on each of the columns. Once all of the rules run, the score gets reported into the data products and the assets, and they get published in the discovery experience as well. Now, once the quality scores run, all of the deviations are created as actions within a finding type called data quality. Here, each failure of the rule creates an action that can be assigned to a owner, or it may be taken up by the data steward themselves. These actions, once resolved, get wiped out from Action Center, and they help in improving the data quality score. Overall, from a CDO's lens, everything is a scorecard. There are a bunch of controls that are set up on the data estate along with the metadata that helps improve or show the scorecard. They can see data quality report as well as data health reports that show the details by domain and data product and the score distribution across the data estate. As you can see, data quality is measured across a few dimensions such as accuracy, completeness, conformity, consistency, timeliness, and uniqueness. And customer can define what custom rule can map into which of these buckets, and out-of-the-box rules in data quality map to one of these buckets by definition.
All right. Sunetra, you're doing everything today, answering questions, being the demo voice. It's all you today. And actually, before we get into some questions around Purview data governance, I did see that there is a question in the chat from Nahat. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but are there any upcoming updates that will enable assigning multiple owners to Fabric content, streamlining management by eliminating the need to take over ownership and re-enter data source credentials? This is probably in the middle, so Nama, do you have anything here, or Anton?
I saw Yaron already answered, right?
Oh, sorry, I'm not in the chat, but can we just, yeah, we can talk about it again here if that works.
So basically, takeover ownership is available. So you can change the ownership on an item and workspace. Service principal is something that, as far as we know, is planned for the future, but we don't have any timelines yet to share. Anton, sorry if you have anything to add.
No, actually, like to have a response. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then on the data governance side of things, I know that there is a lot of questions around similar kind of types of things in Fabric and Purview, and so I think on say like governance domains. Can you talk a little bit more about that, Shafiq or Sunitra, on that?
Yeah, I can take it. So governance domain, if you think about every company, they have the process, like sales process, marketing process, and finance process. So governance domain, you can create a domain for sales. So like the sales domain, then marketing domain, and then finance domain. Then you can think what are the use case that we need to run the overall the marketing operations or sales operations. So then you can think what data product really the use case need to be built. That's a logical bucket. Then after that, you can associate all the data that you are scanning from Fabric, from any other sources to the respective data product, which roll up all the way to the governance domain. So if I give example like this marketing, like the marketing, you can create the marketing journey and data product. And you can create the marketing, this calendar, a data product. So whenever you create a data product, under that, if the marketing journey, you need to know, okay, who are your customer? You need to know who are their CRM contact, how to communicate, what are the marketing date you want to campaign. So all these data you can associate to the marketing data product and roll up all the way to the marketing domain. So that is the governance domain, what we are talking about. So you can have a process, whatever process every company have, order to cash process, idea to market process. You can break down those process to a domain. So that is what mainly the domain, what we are talking about in here.
Love it. Thank you. And I think, I don't see any other questions in the chat. If you have any questions, now is the time. But anything else from any other presenters here, but that we didn't touch on that you want to make clear to customers?
One thing just I want to highlight, just a Fabric. In this age of AI, once you data all data in one place, you can use this AI much more effective way than other than if your data are distributed here and there. So that is a beauty. That's what Fabric is bringing. And then Purview is bringing another beauty that, okay, your data can be in Fabric, your data can be in Databricks. Now you can see all the data by cataloging using one single glass, so that you can see you can have data in this Fabric data and Databricks data, Snowflake's data, even though partially of your Snowflake's data in Fabric, but still if you want to catalog, then Purview is coming on the top of that, is enterprise catalog. So in the age of AI, if you club these two tools together, Fabric and Purview, you don't really need so many tools. You can solve all your analytical problem by using these two tools, and you can govern whole your enterprise.
Yeah, I love that so much, because I think too, like OneLake can connect to all of your data. You can shortcut in from multiple clouds. You can mirror in your databases. You can do connectors to any other data sources. But realistically, OneLake is not going to be your end-to-end data estate, right? It's not going to have every single part of your data estate connected, and that's why you use something like Purview, so that you can see everything across your data estate, no matter what product it's in. It comes into Purview. And so I think like the combination of having that OneLake catalog, which is the operational catalog, plus the Purview data catalog, which is more your enterprise-wide catalog, is really powerful for customers. Okay. I know we only have a couple minutes left. I do, before we end, want to share about our upcoming event, Microsoft Fabric Community Conference. It's in at the end of March, March 31st to April 2nd. If you don't already have your tickets, now is the time to get it. We're super excited. We have tons of security and governance sessions on both Fabric and Purview as a number of sessions themselves. So if you are interested in learning more, this is the event to do it. Most of the sessions won't be available online. It's an in-person event, so it's worth flying out to Vegas. You'll come meet all of us who will be there, and you'll get to learn a lot more about Fabric and Purview. And with that, I think we can wrap up. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for all your questions. Really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the presenters taking time here today to come talk about Purview and Fabric and all the amazing things we're doing there.
Thank you, Kaden. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you.